Hi, welcome to AFM6610, Human Development Across Lifespan. I am Dr. Amy Lash-Esau, and I'm excited to be your instructor for this class. I'd like to give you a little bit of my background so you can get to know me a little bit. I have my bachelor's from the University of Illinois in Human Development and Family Studies with emphasis on human development. I went back to the University of Illinois for my master's in the same department and focused on family studies. I also took some Masters of Social Work classes while I was there, although I did not get my MSW. And then I moved on to my PhD work at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis-St. Paul, and that was in the Family Social Science Department. So I've got a really strong background with human development and family studies, and also with land-grant institutions, which I will be talking about a bit in terms of cooperative extension and cooperative extension resources, which are really important and very helpful for certified family life educators. Professionally, I have done a lot of adjunct work with traditional programs, the long classes with your average 18 to 22-year-olds, but I've also done a lot of work, and most of my professional career has been with adult learners in the compressed programs like we have at Wilmington. At the undergraduate and the graduate level, I helped to develop a Masters of Human Services program in one of my institutions, and I most recently was the Academic Dean for Professional Studies at Southwestern College here in Kansas, and I do live in Wichita, Kansas. So it's nice to be able to, teach online and be able to reach students across the country and sometimes even around, around the world. Let's see what else. Oh, volunteer work. I've done a lot of volunteer leadership work with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, leading troops, serving on committees, also with First Lego League, which is a STEM-based program for 4th through 8th graders using Lego robots and providing an opportunity for them to do some research and some real-world problems as well. It's a fun time and really helps kids develop not just with their science knowledge, but also with some core values. Next, I'd like to talk about some course expectations, both those expectations that I have of you as students, and then those expectations that you can have of me as your instructor. My expectations for you, I think, can be narrowed down to one word: professionalism. And what that means is a couple different things. First of all, I expect grad level quality work from you. That means your writing and your presentations will be at the graduate level. You're thinking deeply, you're communicating complex thought, your own thinking, not just copying things out of what you read, but taking what you read, letting it roll around in your head, and presenting it with clear direction. Your thesis statements and ideas are built in one on another. That also means that you do the spell check, the grammar check, and that you pay attention to writing details. One of those details that I expect you to pay attention to is proper use and citation of sources. At the graduate level, you're going to be looking for professional sources, looking at journal articles, the professionally peer-reviewed journals, and you need to be able to cite your work. So if you are not familiar with APA style at this time, you'll become very familiar with that. And if you don't have an APA manual to call your own, I suggest that you purchase one, especially if you're at the beginning of your program here, because you will be referring to that. It almost becomes your Bible as you go through your program. I expect you to review the syllabus and other expectations that might be presented to you. Either I might put some things on the announcements. So part of the expectation is that you'll read the announcements that I put out. You'll watch any videos that I might put out to help either prepare for the week and explain things or go through an assignment, things like that. I expect you to be proactive and respectful in communication with each other as well as with me. That means if there's part of an assignment where you are asked to provide some critical feedback to your fellow students, that it will be respectful and helpful. Doesn't mean that you just tell them they're wonderful when there are some challenges or problems with what they've written, but you do it in a respectful way. The proactive piece comes in with partner assignments. If you know that something is going to prevent you from pulling your weight or doing something in a timely manner, you need to be proactive in talking to your partner. And the same thing with me is that if something's coming up and you know that that's going to impact your ability to participate in the class or to meet a deadline, you need to be proactive with me and reach out to me before that happens. Don't wait unless it's an emergency. Obviously, if someone is in the hospital, there are exceptions to the let me know in advance. But do be proactive. And also meet deadlines. Wilmington has some policies about what are acceptable exceptions to or reasons why you might be given the opportunity to turn something in late or ask for an extension. Those are very clear, so make sure that you know those policies. Next, we have the course expectations that you might have of me as your instructor. Again, professionalism is a good word to summarize those expectations. Number one, I will communicate my expectations clearly as I possibly can. Some of that comes through the assignment instructions that are in the syllabus or on the website, and then using the rubric is another way to provide those expectations clearly. Rubrics are provided for you up front so that when you are creating your assignments, you can use those rubrics to help you figure out what you need to do and the level to which you need to do it. And I do have a video that will either be on the website or is on there now about how to use a rubric, because I know some students are not familiar with rubrics or how to use them. The rubrics help me to evaluate your work fairly and as objectively as possible. And so one of the expectations you can have of me is that I will evaluate your work fairly. I will return your work promptly. I will shoot for no more than 5 days. Sometimes it might be 6, but it will be so that you can have the opportunity to take my feedback, and especially at the beginning of the class, I will give you pretty extensive feedback that you can then use to make corrections and to make changes and to understand, again, what my expectations are of such things as graduate level work. And you can use that information then to help you with your future assignments. I am available for assistance and consultation, again, being proactive. If you realize that you're running into some problems and you don't understand something, the more proactive you can be in reaching out to me, the more I will be able to assist and consult with you to help you figure out what the problem might be, help you overcome any obstacles. And also remember, there is a place on the website, on the class website, that I believe is Ask the Class. And you can, if you post questions there, sometimes your fellow students can answer questions more quickly than I can get to them. And other times I will certainly answer questions there. And that can actually help your peers, because somebody else might have that question and just not have the guts to ask. And believe me, there's no silly question. So please don't hesitate to ask if you have some questions or concerns. So hopefully this will help you all to work together, and I will work with you, and together we can make this a great class. I look forward to spending the next 7 weeks with you. Take care.